Hello, love bugs, and welcome back to your favorite show, a podcast for when you moved on, they moved on, but your last nerve didn't. This is Dear Ex, One Last Thing. Just as today's intro said, there are times when you want nothing to do with your ex, and it seems as though they've moved on as well. And yet, there's that one last thing that you can't quite let go of, that one last rant that you need to get out. A thought that keeps bugging you. Not because you miss them, or you want to get back with them, or you want to see how they're doing, or you want to change how things ended, but just simply because you need to get it off your chest. And that's what this episode's sender is experiencing right now. Often in life, we just want to be heard. And sometimes we're lucky enough to have those friends that listen, or we have a partner that lends an ear. Maybe we have family that we're close to and feel comfortable being open and honest with. But sometimes we have nobody at all. Or maybe we do, but they wouldn't understand the situation that's bugging us. Maybe we feel sheepish bringing it up, even judged. And that's why I created this podcast. It's for the people that recite all the comebacks they could have said in the shower. It's for the girls who know their best friends are tired of hearing about their ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend. It's for the people in a healthy relationship and a happy relationship that still secretly stalk their ex's account. For the people who still read those text messages from a failed situationship. For the men that feel embarrassed talking to their friends about a broken heart. For all the people that still check their ex-best friend's mom's Facebook account. For all of those people and all of those situations and more to have somewhere where they could say every little thing on their mind. Uninterrupted, unfiltered, and unapologetically, safely, shamelessly, but most importantly, anonymously. Sometimes healing takes messy feelings and actions and embarrassing moments and mistakes. Sometimes you're tired of being the bigger person, of doing the right thing, of feeling the acceptable way. Sometimes being a mess is what feels right. Sometimes you just want to do or say the stupid thing and not feel bad or punished for it. Believe me, I get it. You're my people, and that's why you're here. Because honestly, we're figuring out this life thing together, and we should be easy on ourselves because it is, after all, our first time here, our first time experiencing this age, whatever age we're at right now. And I believe it's always kind of your first time experiencing something, even if it has remnants from something in the past, even if it is a pattern for you, even if that person reminds you of someone long ago. It's your first time experiencing it the way you're experiencing it right now. Speaking of right now, it is time for the story of the episode. Today's sender admits that she feels like she can't fully talk to anyone, and that's why she came to us. As the title told you, she's writing to an ex-partner, an ex-boyfriend. She was 18 when they got together. Her and her ex met towards the end of high school, but they noticed each other a lot over the years of going to school together. As we know also from the title, they were together 5 years, which is longer than any relationship I've had thus far. I had I think it was 3 years, maybe it was 4. It was on and off. It was toxic, bad relationship in high school, and then my most recent relationship was a little bit over 2 years long, and that felt like it just absolutely ripped my heart out when it ended. So I really can only imagine what leaving someone after 5 years would feel like, and hopefully that's a pain I'll never have to go through. If you've gone through anything similar, if you've gotten out of a relationship that was even longer, I would love to hear your story if you're so willing. Our sender is now 24, which hopefully I'm wrong about this next part, and I don't want to be messy, but she was with her ex for 5 years. He's now marrying his now girlfriend of 1 year and a couple months. They were together for 5 years, so that puts her around 23 when the relationship ended because they got together when she was 18. She's now 24. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? He's marrying his girlfriend of a year and a couple months. Maybe, like I said, I'm not trying to be messy. Maybe I'm stirring the pot a little bit. But not only is he marrying his girlfriend that he's only been with for like a year, but he's marrying the rebound. Or he was emotionally or physically cheating. either way, I already don't like him. And I know I shouldn't be picking sides, but that timeline just seems extremely close together. And whatever way you put it, it doesn't really seem that forgivable to me. But that's just me. But let's get some more background on the couple. The sender writes, well, we got together towards the end of high school. He slid up on one of my Instagram stories, and after that, we talked every day. We ended up getting together instantly. He was my first for everything. First boyfriend, first body, first boy I ever loved. After 3 months, he said, I love you, and I said it back. Thinking back now, he really love-bombed me. Our relationship was amazing for the first 2 years, but after that, he stopped being physical with me. He stopped being affectionate, and he wouldn't try. It was like he got comfortable, and he just became lazy with everything. I begged him to go back to how he used to be with me, and his excuse was always, people mature. You can't just go back to being the same person you were a couple years ago. I know the honeymoon phase tends to stop, or at least dwindle down, slow down around the 2-year mark, but it usually doesn't just drop off to the point where you stop being so affectionate that your girlfriend has to beg you to be affectionate and be physically loving. They're also really young at this point. They're in their super early 20s, and that also seems extremely uncommon to just not want to be affectionate or physical with your girlfriend anymore. In your early 20s, like that's the time in every romance novel, romantic TV show, romantic movie that people are the most affectionate, the most physical, the most like that's quite literally the whole thing about your 20s and relationships in that age range. And I know I'm not a man, but I'm just a little confused on how it wouldn't be attractive and a turn on to have a girl be so interested in you that she's begging for affection. Like if that doesn't make you want to get close to her immediately, there's a problem. I personally feel like he should have seen that he was really lucky, because some women wouldn't even try. They wouldn't beg, they wouldn't ask, they wouldn't hear him out. They would have cheated, or they would have left without an explanation and not given him a chance to change. And I'm not saying that's the right way to handle things, but I feel like you should appreciate the girl in front of you that cares enough about you to not be cold towards you and not give you the same energy and not do you worse than you're doing her. And maybe that is a particular soft spot for me, because I've been that person begging for love from somebody, and truly I don't know if there's a lower feeling in the world. And maybe that's why I'm so riled up. But also, last thing, his excuse was saying like, oh, people mature. Okay, it's been 2 years, not 10. And I would think maturing would make you fall more in love, get closer to that person. Maybe it's not like the same as when you got together, but I don't think maturing is an excuse to ignore somebody. Anyways, back to the sender. She writes, he was a huge car guy, and I was fine with it in the beginning. I would love to go to the car meets and the stuff with him. I would even love being in the passenger seat when he would race on the freeway and in the streets. But I was in a really bad car accident, and it changed my perspective about racing. He understood that in the beginning, but over time, it just seemed like he was annoyed by it. He ended up going to races and stuff without me. He would be passing my house every time on his way home from them, and I would beg him to visit me. But since it was 4 a.m. every time, he would just leave. He would say he was too tired and he just wanted to go home. But when it was me going up there, it was never a problem. Again, major red flag. And we can handle this in parts. The first part, I absolutely understand people have their hobbies, and I'm not going to bash him for being in the cars. Lots of people are, lots of men are. Personally, I hate being in the passenger seat of anyone driving fast, of anyone racing. That's because of my own trauma. I couldn't date anyone into that because I just fear for both of our lives too much. And if that was a tendency I knew my partner had, I would fear for their life even when I wasn't in the car. So more power to everybody in relationships like that. All that to say, I do understand the sender's fear of not wanting to be a part of races any longer and just not enjoying that lifestyle. But I also understand the ex-boyfriend and wanting to still have his hobby. I understand that his perspective hadn't been changed yet. I understand that her car accident wasn't something life-changing enough to him where it made him want to change his lifestyle. I'm not even faulting him for that. His life didn't flash before his eyes. Nothing happened to him where his love for cars, racing, meets completely left him. I also understand that leaving it behind would mean leaving community, friends, a whole lifestyle behind, and a sense of belonging, a sense of identity. And so in that whole sense, I'll give him the benefit of the situation, at least for now. However, not staying at your girlfriend's or visiting her or giving her the slightest time of day when you pass by her house very often because you're just tired is wild to me. Because if this was a girl you were trying to court and she was asking you to come over at 4 a.m., best believe you would have been driving out of your way to go. So why is it not of the same importance? It should be honestly of more importance when it's your girlfriend. Maybe if you didn't want to come every single time, once or twice, you just like, babe, I'm tired. But practically never coming, red flag. And then on top of that, when she drives out of her way to go to your house, that's okay. Even though it's still 4 a.m., past 4 a.m., you're not too tired for that. But you're too tired to stop by a house that's on your way for your girlfriend of 2 years. Got it. She continues on the right. I asked him and begged him to stop racing, but he would always say no. I was so afraid that he would end up crashing or something worse would happen, that he would lose his life or hurt someone else, which could land him in prison. And just the amount of guilt she and he would both feel is something I wouldn't wish on anybody. She says there's so many instances where someone crashed or someone was hit at these races. I didn't want to lose the love of my life in the most horrific way. Again, understandable completely on her side. At this point, I still unfortunately do see his side. It's part of who he is until it can't be a part of him anymore, which hadn't happened. And even though she just wanted to protect him at this time, I'm sure he felt like it was very unfair to him that she was trying to change him or couldn't accept his lifestyle, especially because it was a part of him when they first got together. Honestly, do I blame him for not changing everything right away? No. Do I think a lot of people would change everything right away? Honestly, no. I don't know. I feel like that's very opinions based. I feel like there are going to be people that listen to this and think absolutely everything should have changed, and people that think no, what she was asking wasn't fair. I see both sides. Our sender says, once we hit 3 to 4 years, it was like he stopped caring for me. He wouldn't want to hold me or love me, only when it benefited him, which was sex. I even tried to talk to him about sex because it would always just be him getting his nut off and I would just lay there until he fell asleep. There would even be times where I didn't really even want to have sex, but he would beg and feel up on my body. So automatically I felt guilty and I just said yes. I missed how it used to be, I would beg and beg and he would say, okay, I'll start being more affectionate in an annoyed way, but he never did. Girl, if you're listening to this right now, and I hope you are, because this is your episode, I am so glad you are not with this man anymore. This is unacceptable behavior, truly. Truly. Every single part of it. You deserve someone who loves loving you. Doesn't feel like it's an obligation in the slightest. Genuinely looks forward to it. You deserve someone who loves making you feel special. You deserve someone that loves making you feel attractive, feel chosen. You deserve someone who cares about your pleasure and your pain and your fears and your wants and your need. Not someone that just wants to get their nut off. You're not a nuisance. You're not a burden. you're not asking too much, and you weren't asking too much, especially for your boyfriend of 3 to 4 years. What you wanted was not princess treatment, which you deserve, but it was bare minimum, if not less than bare minimum. It was like you were asking for like rock bottom human decency, and he was like, ugh, fine. There's so many things I want to touch on, and if I did, I would literally talk for 2 hours straight. But genuinely, I'm looking at you right now. If you can't see me, then listen closely. You are deserving of every single thing you want in a partner. Most importantly, though, you're deserving of love. Not at the expense of you sacrificing yourself, not at the expense of you making yourself small, not at the expense of you making yourself likable or cool or easily pleased or easy to get along with or having to work for it in any way. You deserve love and acceptance and kindness and softness and forgiveness and someone who genuinely likes listening to you because you exist, because you guys are in a relationship together, because that's what a relationship is supposed to be. Unfortunately, that seems very rare nowadays. That doesn't mean you settle. Sometimes it might take work. Sometimes it might take vulnerability. Sometimes it might take hard conversations. Sometimes it might take growth on your side or admitting your wrongs. Regardless of all of those things, you deserve a good partner. And if anyone is going through anything similar, like if this relationship, you're hearing it and you're like, like this is kind of like my relationship. Or if you're hearing this and you immediately think of someone like, this is kind of like my friend's relationship. Please send them that message that I don't care what they look like. I don't care what they came from, what their emotional baggage is, what their age is. You deserve to be treated with love and respect by someone. You shouldn't have to ask for that. You shouldn't have to remind someone to love and respect you. You shouldn't really have to teach someone how to love and respect you. You might have to teach them what you like or you dislike or your boundaries or, what makes you feel really special, but you shouldn't have to beg someone for love and for someone listening to you. You are not a bad person and you're not asking too much. With all that said, with your little TED Talk, let's carry on. She says, there was one night we were in an area that was really popular for racing. That night, the cops showed up and everyone raced off. A cop ended up chasing us on the freeway, and her ex was going 120 miles per hour. He even drove on the side of the freeway and almost crashed because it was a 2-laner in heavy traffic. We almost lost our lives numerous times that night because he didn't want to pull over. I had to hide us at my job. I was a shift leader at the time and I wasn't working that night. I begged my coworker / other shift leader, who was my friend, to let us hide there until the cops left, and she agreed. We both could have lost our jobs that day because he didn't want to get caught. I talked to him so many times. I can't even count how many times I've had serious talks with him. At this time, she had threatened to break up with him if he didn't start trying. He would cry and say, "You can't ask me to give up something I love." And then he would repeatedly say he was going to try harder. She says, thinking back on it, maybe it was horrible of me to ask, but I didn't know what else to do. Like I've mentioned before, like she's acknowledging maybe it was an unfair ask of her. Up until this point, I'm sure there had been many dangerous situations. I think that's part of the love of it. That's part of the adrenaline rush that you keep chasing. But this situation, I think, should have been different. I think this should have been his eye opener. But some people honestly just have to learn the super hard way, which is death of another person. Sometimes that doesn't even do it. Or prison. Sometimes that doesn't even do it. Or their own death. Or hurting someone they love. If you're not that type of person where you don't have to learn the super extreme way and you're with someone that is that type of person, you really probably do just have to get out of that relationship, because ultimately that person will probably bring a lot of destruction around you and you're going to be left cleaning it up or mourning or dead or left behind. Extremely reckless, I would say that situation was. I don't think it was fair to our sender. I don't think it was fair, honestly, to her family either. I feel like anytime I'm with a partner or a friend, I always have their family in mind because I feel I owe them taking care of their loved one the same way that they would, if not better. If I were to be reckless or stupid, I have to ask myself, can I look them in the eye if anything went wrong? And if I couldn't, then I shouldn't be doing it, or I shouldn't be subjecting them to that type of situation. And I feel like he should have been thinking the same. She mentions that he said that he can't give up something he loves. And for me, that would have been an indication that I have to leave, because what about me? What about me? I've threatened that you're going to lose me and you don't care. So you love me less than the cars and the racing, than the meets. That would be my indication to go, because everyone has to have their thing that is separate from their partner, that thing that grounds them into their identity and makes them a fuller, better person. But when that starts getting in the way of the relationship and you just keep expecting your partner to make themselves smaller and smaller so this thing could have space in your life, it's not a fair ask. He mentions he can't give up something he loved, but he didn't give her up. But what about the way he's changed towards her? Maybe he didn't leave her, but he's definitely left her behind in some ways. He's definitely given up on her. I mean, for a car lover, it should be really simple to understand, even if you don't sell a car, but you stop taking care of it, you stop showing up for it, you stop caring about it, and you let it get all run down. What's really the difference? Either way, you've left it behind. Either way, you're leaving something you claim to love. Am I right? She continues to write, I loved him too much to fully break it off. I'm even in a lot of credit card debt because I would always pay for everything, because he would rather pay for his car parts and stuff rather than help me out. I wasn't asking him to pay for everything, but helping me out once in a while would have been nice. Even his mother would warn him so many times, saying he was going to lose me if he kept it up. One day, after we had sex, it finally hit me. I deserved better. Our sender writes, I talked to him and I cried when I broke it off. He cried too, but he didn't really fight it. It broke my heart. We gave our stuff back to each other and kind of kept texting after everything, but I tried to cut it off. I met someone 2 months later and we instantly connected. I kind of went back and forth between them two, and I feel horrible that I did that, and to this day I still do. It wasn't right of me to do that. I'm not saying it's right or even wrong that she went between the two, but at the end of the day, she was single. She didn't cheat. She feels guilt. She feels regret now. And it sounds like she wouldn't do something like that in the future. This isn't a bad person that we're reading about. This is a girl whose self-worth was so low and was treated by someone that confirmed that she didn't deserve much for 5 years, who was desperately trying to figure out how to navigate life in a breakup. And mistakes are made. And that's how we grow. That's how we learn. She says, I ended up making a decision for myself, and I ended up choosing the new guy. I had a huge talk with my ex, and I explained everything from my perspective. I apologized, of course, but I needed him to know where I was coming from. He ended up talking to other girls, of course, but I decided to cut all my communication off. He kept bugging me to stop and stay in touch, but I just couldn't. Not after I had made my decision, and it wasn't fair to the new guy. We still haven't talked to this day. Good for you, girl. I waited a couple months to officially tell my new man that I was ready to date. To be honest, I wouldn't change a thing. I truly made the best decision for myself. My now boyfriend treats me how I've always wanted to be treated. He's patient with me. He's so affectionate. He loves to show me how much he truly loves me, and he always shows me off. He's an amazing man who loves my family. Nothing compared to my ex, who never spoke to my family. He would just be on his phone. Obviously, he would talk to them if they were talking to him, but it was rare. Boy, he was really addicted to that phone. He'd be on it 24/7 when I was with him. I would always have to repeat myself and even begged him to pay me attention, but he would just go back to his phone. My ex's mom ended up reaching out 2 months ago, stating I had left some stuff at their house. We ended up meeting and we just caught up on everything. She explained how he was in a new relationship and how he ended up moving in with her. Meanwhile, I had to beg him to sleep over at my house, and he never did. She even told me that his new girlfriend is nice, but they don't even really talk. She said as much as she wants us to get back together, she's happy and proud that I chose myself and put myself first in the relationship. We had a heart-to-heart, and we both agreed to stay in touch. We somewhat text every now and then. Even his grandmother texted me that day saying she missed me too. They both said I'll always be like family to them, and I'll always be a part of their family. A couple of days later, I ended up finding out that they were engaged. He proposed to her. He hasn't even been with her that long. Probably about 2 years if I had to guess. A year and a half. I can't even explain the pain I was in when I found out. I threw my phone onto my bed. I started sobbing and hyperventilating. I talked to him many times about when we'd be engaged. My family and his family would always ask us when we would go over there. They always said we're already at that time since we'd been together so long. He'd always say, I don't know, soon. To me, he explained how his parents' divorce traumatized him, and he didn't want to go through that. He'd always said he wanted to be fully out of debt when we do. I obviously didn't push it any further, and I just let it be. I wholeheartedly believe he just stopped loving me but didn't want to break up with me. That he was just so comfortable and he didn't want to be single. I was there for him through everything. I was there for him when he didn't have a job, didn't have a car, didn't have money, etc. I was the one who helped him through everything, and I didn't ask for anything in return. I loved him so much I would have given my life for his. I honestly regret staying so long. I let him treat me like crap for so long, and if I wasn't so stupid, then I wouldn't have gone through all that heartbreak. I truly believe he was just a coward. I don't think he cared about her. I don't think he cared about her after those 2 years. I think she got those 2 years with him. It was honeymoon. He liked that he had a girl that cared about him and sex that was available to him, and he had someone infatuated with him. And then he couldn't do, I don't even want to say the manly thing. He couldn't do the adult thing of working on his relationship with her, working on himself, or just cutting it off. Being an adult, doing the hard and uncomfortable thing. Instead, he let her waste years of her life and so much stress and go through so much heartbreak while he was checked out. It's just unfair. But today's letter is a short one, and honestly, it's more than what I think he deserves. But if it could serve our sender, then I'm happy that she wrote it, and I'm happy to be a part of it. She writes, Dear Ex, why can't I be good enough for you? I tried everything I could think of, and it still wasn't enough. I would have fought tooth and nail for you. I loved you that much. I defended you to every one of my friends and family. I let them think you were someone who was perfect, and that was perfectly fine, and that we were happy. I will always love you, but I know you don't feel the same. I just wish nothing but the best for you. I wish in my own unhealthy head she would have been a little bit meaner, a little bit more cutthroat, but these letters are for you. They're not for me. To our sender, I truly hope you know what you deserve. I truly hope you're happy in your new relationship. I truly hope that you've found better. I truly hope that you never deserved any of that treatment. You never deserved to be anyone's second choice. I hope your new boyfriend gives you the world. And if he doesn't, don't be scared to find someone that does. Don't settle for okay just because it's better than bad. Sending you so much love, and thank you for sharing your story. Thank you to everyone who submitted a story. Thank you to everyone that's listening. Thank you to everyone that's following as well. If you like the show and you'd like to see it grow, if you want to hear some more stories, be sure to like, comment, share, and especially those Apple Podcast listeners. If you are listening right now, I have a special episode that is coming out for New Year's. Instead of just doing one letter, I'm going to do a compilation of little letters, and they are going to be from you to you in the future 1 year from now. So I'm going to read as many little letters as I can, and the episode is going to come out on New Year's Day, and then that will become kind of a time capsule for you to refer back to New Year's 2026 going into 2027, so you could see how much you've grown, how much you've changed. It could be inspiring, it could be heartfelt, it could be silly, it could be comedic. You could mention, nothing of substance. You could just mention what your favorite shows are, what your favorite song is, you know, what you like to do right now, who you hang out with right now, where do you live, what's your phone case color, really whatever you want that you think will be interesting to yourself when you're in the future. I also have a special Christmas episode coming out because I have an episode coming out the 25th, so stay tuned for that. Happy Thursday, my friends, and per usual, say it with me now. Don't text your ex, text who? Text who? Text me instead. Until next time, love, Mia Rose.